Good evening and welcome to the Congo Hour. My name is Wayna, along with my host for the last show of the year, Mr. Congo. Thank you for coming early.
Well, I was here earlier, but I'm lying. I got here just on time.
All right.
Trippy told me he was leaving he had something that he had to do. And would I come in and help a little bit? And I told him that I had a time factor here. And
I think we all do, so we're going to see what happens.
We're going to see what happens.
All right. Well, we do have a very important interview with Councilwoman Hanifa Shabazz, and I'm going to let her introduce her guest. They're going to be talking about a great program that you definitely want to make sure that you listen so that you can share the information. We have funeral announcements, we have several birthdays, and a few community announcements. And as well, we're going to still do Sammy's Corner.
Well, we're going to combine Sammy's Corner with Council's Lady Shabazz.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, are you in the seat that you're sitting in tonight? Are you Councilwoman Shabazz, or are you just a concerned citizen of Wilmington today? Which one are you?
Well, I'm always both.
Okay. I like that.
You can't ever separate the two.
Very good. Okay. All right.
But thank you for allowing us to come on and talk about this exciting collaboration that we are doing on the East Side. I have guest with me is Reverend Terrence Keeling, who is a pastor at Central Baptist Church, but also is the brainchild of the East Side Rising and the East Side CDC, as well as Professor Rahima Jabbar-Bey from the University of Delaware. All of us are collaborative in this effort of the East Side Rising. As a city council, East Side is my district, and one of the things that we've been doing, one of the things that I've always strived to do is to educate and empower our community to come together to resolve our own internal problems. It has to start from the community. And we started off with a East Side Blueprint initiative that was also worked in collaboration with the University of Delaware, and Beverly Bell and Tina Robinson were the founders of that first movement. And then Reverend Keeling came into our neighborhood and talked about what's going on the East Side. So we told him of the great things that we're doing there, and he came up with his additional brainchild of a very cohesive initiative that addresses the various issues that are happening on the East Side, and then resulting in the East Side Rising. You might have heard about a month or so ago, about a historical collaboration of 11 individuals, 11 partners, housing and other finance community organizations coming together to sign a memorandum of understanding that we all would work together to make this project come to light. I'm just going to give you a little background about it, but I want to turn it over to Rahima Jabbar-Bey and then Reverend Keeling so they can give you very, very fine-tuned specifics of it.
Okay.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much. I'm really honored. I think we're all honored to be here on the last show of the year. And this has been an amazing year, not only for the East Side community, also for the Center for Community Research and Service, which I'm representing. We have worked with the East Side since 2008, when they were awarded from an application, a very competitive application, the status of being a blueprint community. And there have been a number of leaders that Councilwoman Shabazz just mentioned, and the current leaders of the East Side Blueprint Community and the Community Development Corporation is Reverend Terrence Keeling and also Alfie Moss. So we're excited because this group, since 2008, has developed a very well thought out, comprehensive revitalization plan for the East Side, and always incorporated input from East Side residents and businesses and nonprofits. And what they've been doing in the last 7 or 8 months has been working on 2 really rich, comprehensive approaches, one in housing and one for economic development. And we're here primarily to talk about about the Economic Development Initiative. But again, I just want to stress that they have a well thought out, comprehensive revitalization plan that they're poised now to actually implement. The whole purpose of Blueprint bring in as many voices from the community and others to develop a plan. Don't let it sit on a shelf and collect dust. Make it implementable. And they've already done some things, and now they're working on housing and economic development. And we're very honored to work with them. Reverend Keeling?
Well, you guys have basically given a very good overview of what we're trying to accomplish. If I had to bring it all down, I would say that what we're trying to do is to build a very mixed income community, with the emphasis on community, building a social capital, not just building housing, but also addressing the other areas that are lacking in our community. Our plan focuses on community empowerment, so that everything that we do, we didn't ask people to come in and do things for us. We did a asset mapping from the beginning to find out what resources we had in the community, and now we're pulling all those resources in and making them a part of what we're doing. For instance, Stepping Stones, DCRAC, which is on the east side, they're part of the memorandum of agreement, and they're doing a specific thing of bringing together people who would be, as we do these houses, there'll be some people who will be financially able to move into those houses. So we've got a housing with addressing economic development, again from a mixed income point of view, not just going after jobs, but we're talking about going after entrepreneurship, empowering people. And that's really why we're here now, is to talk about the opportunity of being a part of this and finding people who are interested and capable of being entrepreneurs on the east side.
This may be one of the answers to the cutback in unemployment.
Absolutely,
Right.
because one of the things that the program is, and I think is the most effective part of the whole concept, is that we're not just talking about renovating brick and mortar. We are renovating the housing stock, putting it back online so that people can have a place that they can call their own, not just in rental but in home ownership. But that revitalization means that somebody has to physically do that. Well, we have the human stock and the people who live there. Unemployment is high on the east side, so we're going to take the residents who live there and who have already come to the table. We had a meeting, asked everyone who was interested in coming, do you want to learn a skill, do you want to be a part of this? It was standing room only, and a lot of those were the guys that are usually on the corner. Those gentlemen came in, and you had to be on time, because if you were late, you did not get in the door. And it was amazing how they were there, they were ready and eager to get this information, how they can be a part. So we will train them to be the ones who will do the revitalization. They will be rebuilding the houses. So it's a very comprehensive internal, we're doing this for ourselves. Yes, there are individuals outside who bring an expertise and partner and see that what we're doing, but when we finish, the individual residents from Eastside could say, I helped build that house, I built that garden, that's my business on the corner. And that brings me to our point of the subject of why we're here today, is our entrepreneurship initiative. We're hosting a entrepreneurship interest meeting at Central Baptist Church, which is 801 North Pine Street, on January 14th at 6 p.m. So we're asking anyone on the east side, and I would say Southbridge also, because we're all neighbors, East Side of Southbridge, that you are interested in the business, that you might have started a business, you want to know how to start a business, that to come to this meeting, because we have individuals who are poised and ready to assist them, to help them grow their business, help them start a business, and so that we can resolve our unemployment issue, we can start our own, we create our own economic engine, and we will be the owners of the businesses that are helping in the rising of East Side. So that's January 14th at 6 p.m. at Central Baptist Church, 801 North Pine Street. So all of you,
839.
Excuse me?
839.
Oh, 839, I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. 839 North Pine Street is the church's address. But all those individuals who are out there who always want to know what to start a business, and we mean started not just to go and do it, but we do it exactly the way a business should be done. Business plan, financial planning, the whole, how do you go for finance and support, all the steps to make a successful business. We know he who fails to plan plans to fail. So we want to help our East Side entrepreneurs to be able to be successful and help us in the rising of the East Side.
Very good. Mr. C?
Mr. C?
No. It just excites me. I love business, and I guess when I hear about people going into business, I fret a little bit because I realize how hard it is, and the discipline that is required, the information that you need. You know, it's just not that simple.
No, it's not.
And so I believe in an incubator kind of system that that you can gather all the resources possible to give you the support systems that are necessary to go into any business.
I think he's read the plan.
I know. That's
That's
exactly
That's
what we're talking about, incubator businesses. And we have brought together the resources and who agreed to work with us so that when we identify those individuals, we'll be able to take them from beginning straight through all the way to the point where they are ready to stand and make a move into brick and mortar, or whatever is their vision for their business. The whole concept is to help them be successful on the east side. Now, Councilwoman Shabazz said that we would go outside of the east side because what we're trying to do is find individuals who would become a part of our community. You don't have to just live on the east side. We want you people from the east side to have this opportunity, but there are other people that need to be a part of this who may come in and then see what we're doing on the east side and become a part of this community that we're revitalizing and rebuilding. So we're very excited about what we're doing. I think what you said hits the nail on the head. We've thought of that. That's exactly why we're here.
I don't want to dominate.
Oh, please.
No, we need to hear your questions.
I guess one of the things that often we're confronted with is adequate financing. And it would seem to me that you need everybody to put in this pool the kinds of money that you need from the state level to the county level, and surely the city would have to be a part of it. But without adequate financing, I would imagine, and I'm not all that hip on knowing how to make that work, but I do know that for myself, every time I've tried to do something, if I was hindered, financing was one of the major. That comes before skill. You know, some people say, well, we're going to give you, say, 50,000 when you really need 200, and you've got to have enough to last you for a year and a half in the process. And we're rarely offered the opportunity to have that kind of money. We have the kind of money where I guess they expect you to go into your pocket, which is nothing in it, and then you start playing with the money, and then you go under as a result of not having the working capital, the lines of credit, you know, all the things that are required by even big business to survive under difficult times. And so I would hope that all that has been considered, buying, whatever process that would take place, how much money is yours, how much belongs to the business. You know, there's just so much, and I'm sure everybody's thought about all that. But so often we fail as a result of not having hands-on experience. And how do you get that dream to be real and take that realness and understand all the little curves and corners and highs and lows that are required in the marketing, and then just pure quality. I think there's just so much to learn.
I think, and we thank you for that insight on, and that group of individuals we talked about in the memorandum of understanding are individuals who have made a commitment to help us do all that is necessary to do that. And then there still are others, you know, outside of that, and we are have gotten great support from, of course, the city, and also from you know, going to other higher levels of government, or have heard about our plan or interested in our plan and willing to have offered some support of some type. Not all signed and delivered yet, but there is, great support from all levels of government to make this idea come to fruition, because we do know all the things it's going to take to make it happen.
Well, we didn't know we were going to see you tonight. And you've already demonstrated the type of knowledge that you and your family have about being able to engage in successful, effective, and sustainable businesses. And so the remarks that you made tonight have been discussed, and it made me think about, we're not just trying to bring together the nonprofits and the public sector. The private sector needs to be involved in this as well. And as far as a number of us are concerned, the Congo family represents a major Delaware-based private company. So please allow this group, which is more than the three of us, to bring you into this for counsel, because you know what has happened and what might happen based on running your own businesses. So I really appreciate what you just said, and I do think that each of us would say these things have been thought about, and we have been meeting with people who have knowledge and experience about working capital and the ability to help people who want to be entrepreneurs to understand how serious this is. It is a major undertaking. And it's true that if you don't make it in the first 5 years, you might not make it. That's
But
true.
it may take 5 to
Or
make
more,
it.
right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah. One of the other things that happens, I think, and I'm just shooting in the dark, you got to help me out here. We bring in people, but they don't understand the cultural differences. And those cultural differences can make a difference. So in that plan that you set up, I would encourage folks who are involved to understand the way I would run a funeral home would not be the same way that another guy in a different culture would run a funeral home, nor would the banks see us in the same light.
That's true.
Most banks would see us in the light that with people that look like them. And so there's a massive difference between the financing in the black community when there is, for instance, a funeral, and the way is necessary to finance a funeral in the white community. And so the bank sometimes does not understand, and we all need the bank all the time. And will the bank give you the lead that is necessary to make those adjustments? And that is so, and all the banks have different philosophies.
That's true.
And so, we have to not only educate our folk, but we have to educate the bank, because all help ain't helpful. And so they may come in with some help that isn't helpful in order for us to survive. So, they are the kinds of things that I've noticed over the many, many years that I have had opportunities to have experiences with some businesses that if I didn't have this business would not have been successful. Because although the funeral business, for me, I was born in a funeral home, so I had so much hands-on experience with my family. Was quite different when I took on the shuttle.
Right.
And when I took on flowers, when I took on the multi-businesses that we had opportunity to be a part of, they were all different. And because I was successful in funeral, did not mean I was going to be successful in shuttle or courier or limousine or even the club businesses that I was in. They were all different. And so I couldn't tell somebody in the flower business how to run the flower business based on my experience in the funeral business. And it takes so much support systems, and so many support systems, I think, to that are sensitive to the needs of that person. Because even though I may be successful in this flower business, does not mean the other guy will be successful based on my skills or my experiences. And he may be more successful than me if given the opportunities for him to grow.
Well, I think, all the things that you're saying, I think that has come out in many different conversations, and we're glad that you were just really kind of emphasizing our thoughts during those conversations. And we have taken, as Sister Jabbar Bey says, we have taken a lot of those kind of things into consideration. And one person as myself who's been always an advocate for cultural competencies when dealing with our, dealing with our community, we know that's very, very important. So, the memorandum of understanding with the 10 different people, we know it's not just limited to where are the expertise or the support systems that we know is going to be necessary to make this project be successful. So we would definitely have to call upon, some of our successful businesses such as yourself to be able to come in and maybe do as we are nurturing and training those individuals and building their businesses, for them to hear from someone who's actually been there and done it, what it's going to take. And also even just expressing your experiences too, if the banks don't see it, that understand it, maybe you can come and help convince the banks to see it the way that it needs to be seen. So, this is a community project. I mean, even with, like I said, the innovative idea, I think, is historical event of 10 different organizations signing a memorandum of understanding that they commit to doing what's necessary to make this project come off the paper to a reality. And I guess it is not just the housing component of it, but housing, workforce development training, skill training, entrepreneurship training. We know it's very comprehensive. So we know we will need more than just those 10 individuals to make it come to light. But right now, that's where we're starting. All those different all those different points that you've made, we know we're going to have to address them. We know there are hurdles going to have to be overcome. But I think the representation of us here in all of our different capacities, because I think Reverend Keeling, I would say, is representing the community. Professor Jabbar Bey is representing the academia and the technical expertise, and I'm representing the public sector. So here we have just the three facets of the community thus far coming together to make this happen. And with you coming into the private business, that we get you to sign a memorandum of understanding also. That's one thing I do is I do it well. I find the resources that you come in, Mr. Congo, and share. I hope you see what our vision is we're trying to do on the east side, and hopefully that it will expand and see that it works there on the east side. That we welcome anyone to duplicate it throughout the city, because our goal is to rise our community back up from where it once was. We know how historically great the east side was and still is. It's just a little sleep right now. And then we're going to, it's a little sleep.
Hibernating.
Yes, hibernating. So we're going to wake up those giants, let them know what kinds of genes they have with them, what kind of creative powers they have in them, and that we all work together collectively, that we can come back and we can resolve our own social ills.
I think it's also important to just add, for everyone's knowledge, each of the Blueprint teams had to have a banker on the team.
Oh, yeah.
Had to have a developer, either nonprofit or for-profit, on their team. And these were people who were decision makers in their companies, as well as an elected or appointed official. And everyone else on the team was a community or citizen leader from those neighborhoods. So the Eastside team has had the benefit of those types of individuals on the planning team. So when those comprehensive plans were developed, they weren't developed in a vacuum. So I really appreciate what you said about the need for cultural competencies. And that was part of the vision that our center had, and I have to say the Federal Home Loan Bank of Pittsburgh, to have these external people part of developing the plan as well. So that they were making a commitment for almost a year of planning that included at least one feasible, manageable project. And the east side is like 360 degrees past that, maybe 720. Seriously, because they've already done some smaller projects that were part of their plan. They have a community benefits agreement committee. There are some amazing committees of people who are working on very specific projects that are part of their plan. So this entrepreneurship is just one of them. The housing is another one. there's this empowerment that they said needed to happen. So that one of the, and I'm going to stop, one of the agreements with Local 55, that's who's training people. So they'll be ready to walk on the job and actually have a very professional position and skilled position in the construction or rehabilitation of the housing. So we're trying to make sure people are prepared for the opportunity.
One of the things that I often think about that a lot of folks don't think about is in this footprint, the laws and the rules of the city have to be considered, because you may want to do something to expand it, and the city's policy may be that that policy has to be changed in order to make that business work. And so I've gotten kind of smacked before because I didn't understand that, and there was a lot of research involved. And so, you know, they are some of the things that, and when I'm talking, this is just conversation, because I'm sure you've thought all the things that I've thought. You've got great people on you, with you doing things. But I still, when I talk about banker stuff, you know, I still have to sensitize my bankers to understand what I need. And I have to also learn, when a bank sends you a representative, what are his limits? Because, you know, I keep running into a guy that can only deal from this level, and you need somebody from this level that is sensitive, because they'll keep, you know, although the bank's involved, this guy keeps it limited to how far you can really go, because that's their commitment, and you really need a commitment from here. And I need a commitment from here most of the time, but I work my way understanding that kind of networking is required in order to grow, because if you don't, it will stifle you and prevent you from doing all the things that you want to do. And it takes so long to make those changes take place that sometimes for the city, they may have to go to Dover to get a law changed. And so by the time they go through all this, you're in trouble. So a part of structuring this program, I'm just sharing that you may think about those kinds of things that you may need just to prevent you from running into a bottleneck sometimes, because I've run into them.
Well, I would appreciate that insight, and that we will definitely keep that in mind if we find ourselves getting to that type of stumbling block, and but I think thus far we've been kind of very comprehensive in thinking of what our needs might be, and have someone at the table who either can address it or can do the necessary research. So far we haven't come up against any type, I don't think, Katy City type of regulations, but if you think of something we might need to keep our eyes and ears open that will, you think futuristically for us, we would appreciate that hindsight. But then too, it's made me think that maybe we need to start another committee, and that is to try to work back and get in that community bank going, so that we will have our own bank.
That would be smart.
We get our own bank, so that, because we do have the economics, if we can just pull it all together some type of way. I mean, I think our community tried one time before to try to start a community-based bank, so that we would not have those type of hurdles. But that's another initiative that kind of bigger than me, Mr. Congo. You might have to take that one on.
I'm too old now.
But I mean, you can sit there and we'll sit at your feet while you tell us what we need to do. But I think what we are doing for a start is quite innovative. I think it's going to address and we feel really comfortable that it's going to address the needs of the community, because in our numerous community meetings that we've had, this is what the community says that they wanted, that they need. So we're fulfilling that need, and they're coming to the table to do the work that's necessary to make it happen. So the Entrepreneurship Committee and the event that we're having, again, I want to say the date again, on January 14th at 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, 6 o'clock at the Central Baptist Church at 8th and Pine, 839?
9th and Pine.
9th and Pine, I see I get on it. 839 Pine Street, but it's at the corner of 9th and Pine.
9th and Pine.
Sister Hanif, I'm sitting here thinking that we have viewers that want to reach out and they want to help,
thank you.
but we need a telephone
yes,
number
yes.
to give them
Okay, yes.
so they can flood your phone.
Yes, and the number is 302-397-8903.
Say it one more time so Ivan can put it up on the screen for us.
302-397-8903. They also can send an email with their name and contact information and the type of business, whether it's a new business interest or a business they are already what business they already started. They can send that information to an email address, which is, hope they can remember it because it's simple. It's hshabazz@hanifashabazz.com.
Okay. H-Shabazz.
hshabazz@hanifashabazz.com.
Okay.
And in fact, we were asked if you're interested in planning to come to the meeting, that you would either email me your information about your coming, as well as call, and so we know how many we should prepare for. But we're very excited about, because we know there's many people out there who might not be that employer type and want a venture of their own, you know. And I always say that's how America was built, with the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker.
That's right.
That's how America was built, on the entrepreneur. And so we know that, and we want to support that. And one of the things you said too, Mr. Congo, if I may add, is that the incubator concept, we know that, and it does take a lot of money and resources and support systems, but with that incubator type of an concept that we have, there will be some shared services so that it's not such a strain until they get the sales going. We will have some individuals to help them oversight to make sure that they're doing the preliminary startup processes adequately, hopefully to be able to deter any type of failure because of lack of knowledge or improper handling the finances. Because the first thing we do, we make a profit, and we think we can do something else, but other than reinvest it back into the business. And how do they survive? All those type of things that are essential in having a successful business. We believe we will have all that in place in the incubator process that we are setting up for the new entrepreneurs for the East Side.
One of the things that really fascinated me was I'm always listening to crazy stuff, and a lot of us are under the impression that cheap labor helps you to be successful, and I'm sure it does. But they also found out that Germany is kicking the socks off of China, and they're not operating under cheap labor concepts. So, but you have to find the uniqueness within what you're doing that would allow you to compete with people who are trying to compete with you, with cheap labor. And cheap labor isn't always the answer.
No, the Germany is using efficiency.
Okay.
They're using efficiency to so that if they're efficient and the shortest distance or the shortest process to get it done, then it takes less people to do it, and then that person can get paid more money. So that's the process that they're using, and which is part of our workforce development training, is to develop people for efficiency, so that they are be able to get sustainable wages, not just a job or minimum wage. We're looking for sustainable wages for our individuals either coming into the businesses or even those that we're training in our workforce development program. Because if they're not, then we're right back to where we started from. They're still going to have to do a second hustle. They're going to have to do 2 jobs, which means the family's going to suffer. So sustainable wages is that you're doing an efficient job and getting paid a sustainable wage for that job, so that employer sees the value in you and you're bringing value to that position. And then in return, you're getting a sustainable wage to go home and take care of your family.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
That's a good idea. Well,
We've done our homework. We've done our homework, Mr. Congo. We're working hard, and we're doing research, studying those who are successful, because Germany is successful. Especially, I learned that from what they did with the BMW system, the BMW, their workforce.
And I have to add, in Germany, they also, unlike a number of other corporate entities around the world, here in the United States and worldwide, they also studied what does it cost to live above poverty.
Correct.
I mean, if anyone should do that, this country should do that. What does it cost to live above poverty? So some people call it a livable wage. We've been saying sustainable wage. They did that. You know, what does it cost to have a house, have clothing, have medical care, transportation, food? Those are basics. If you can cover your basics, you're above poverty. So the efficiency, the sustainable or livable wage, the productivity, they also considered how much of a profit margin does the company really need.
That's right.
That's not socialism, that's humanism. That's also submitting to the will of God, that we're going to treat other human beings properly. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm telling you, we're studying, we're researching, we're trying to figure out how can we make it happen here. And if it can happen in Wilmington and Delaware, it can happen.
I'm sure you're right.
Well, I'm not going to say we're right. I'm going to say we're striving.
We're striving. That's right.
And today's conversation with you has been really helpful. Thank you.
I learn every day. And I've just learned how well you all have planned, having the bank involved. You know, you've looked at how laws and that stuff may affect you. You know, all that stuff is so, you know, we don't think about that, and then all of a sudden we're faced with it. And sometimes even the best of us can't do anything about it because it's a law. And then how do you get that law changed? You know, by that time things may,
Yeah.
You know, so
Things will change. It'll move forward in a way, and you might not be part of that movement.
But as a legislator, it is our responsibility to make laws that are beneficial to the people which we serve. So if changing that law is going to be beneficial to make this project move forward in the quality of life for the entire citizens that we serve, then it's our responsibility to make that law happen.
That's absolutely right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's even one of the things that we are stressing as we build community. It's how to engage our elected officials, how to tell them. In many cases, what has happened in the past is when our elected officials would come, the question would be, "What are you going to do for us?" You know, as opposed to saying, "All right, this is where we want to go. We need you to help us get there. These are the obstacles in our way. We need you to make those go away," which is what happens in progressive communities. And so we're starting to change how we see government function within the East Side community, how we address our elected officials. I will say, I don't endorse anyone, but Councilwoman Shabazz, when I first came, she was one of the first persons I talked to and told her, okay, this is where we want to go. And I said, you know, you're going to have to be with us every step of the way. And she's been there. And whenever we say, okay, we need this to make the next step happen, I think she appreciates that we're dealing with her in that way, saying, okay, this is what we need, which allows her to do what she does. So.
You know, I guess I think differently from that, because I think that the elected officials are enablers for the community. And I endorse Hanifa. And I think that all of us on the East Side, if we live there, have to endorse her in order for her to feel comfortable to move forward. But she also has to understand that she represents your needs, and that when I worked for the YMCA many years ago, I was a community organizer. And what I had to understand was I had to find the leadership in the community and put myself into an enabler's role. I had to go help the community to find resources and all that. but I never thought that I was in charge. I was never in charge. And I think that we have to, as a total community, have to help our elected officials to begin to work closer with the community in terms of being an enabling person. And I don't know how Hanifa feels about that, but
Well, I was listening to what you were saying, and I think that I think as a elected official and in a leadership capacity, what my practice has been to engage and educate my constituents on how to use me to the best of my ability with the position that I have. And so in that, I have developed the relationship with my districts as well as the East Side to be able to make Reverend Keeling, when he said what his vision was for the East Side, and the East Side Blueprint team say what vision is, I can give them how that they can make this happen. To, educate them. This is how city council, this is how city government works, and this is how what you can do, and tell me what your needs are, and then I go in my position, in my capacity, and I go make them happen. So I created a relationship or partnership, let them know that I am their voice in that capacity. It's not my voice. I always, and if you ever hear me speak, I always speak that even with the, and you spoke about the Community Benefits Agreement committee, and I think only community benefits agreements are only used in my district. I don't think there's any other elected official who ever used this tool, and that is that the community has an agreement with any type of development that's coming into their neighborhood, and they work with that development. They make an agreement on you want to come and you want to build something in the neighborhood, and how is that going to be beneficial for the people who live there. Because the community has the voice of saying, yes, I want that variance. No, I don't want them to agree on the variance when they have to go before the zoning board. That's power, that's leverage. So I think, if anything, if I'm enabling my constituents, I'm enabling them to use the power and the voice that they have in their votes, whether it's voting me into position or voting for in the zoning board to say, yes, we want that building now to become a different type of building. We want that type of business in our neighborhood. And that business can come into my neighborhood, but how is it going to benefit and fit into the plan that my neighborhood has? So if the community doesn't have a plan, and I'm proud to say my West Center City group neighborhood has the West Center City Futures, South Bridge has the SAMP, and East Side has the East Side Rising Plan. I've empowered and engaged and enabled my constituents to use me to the best of my capacity as a city council person. So if a law needs to be changed, I'm there to do that. And then if they don't want that zoning variance to happen, and there's people out there who haven't gotten it done, that's why Diamond Oil is still where it is, because we want to allow what we wanted in Southbridge, it didn't fit into our plan, then that's I've demonstrated and showed my constituents how to use their power. So. I answered your question, I hope.
Lena told me I can't talk anymore.
This is the Congo. But we do have funeral announcements and birthdays. But I thank you so very much.
We thank you for the opportunity, yes.
And I honestly believe that this will be one of the things that will definitely, once it's up and running, save our city from the crime and everything else that's going on, just based on the vision of what I heard so far.
So can I just announce one more time when it is?
Of course you can.
The Entrepreneurship Interest Meeting is on January 14th at 6 p.m. at Central Baptist Church at 839 Pine Street at the corner of 9th and Pine in the east side of Wilmington. So if you are a new business, starting a business, or interested in learning how to do a business of your own, please come to that meeting and hear what we have to say.
All right,
thank
you.
And thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. Okay, so going to take a quick break. Mr. Congo, you're probably going to be leaving. You want to say Happy New Year?
Happy New Year to everybody.
All right, and I'll be back with funeral announcements and birthdays. Okay, and now for our funeral announcements. Miss Felicia Peterson, age 44, departed this life December 22nd. Her funeral service was held on Friday at Congo Funeral Home, and her burial was private. Mrs. Odessa Newman Ringgold, age 76, departed this life December 19th. Funeral services were held on Saturday at St. Paul UAME Church. Her burial will take place 1 p.m. Monday, December the 30th in New Christian Chapel of Love Cemetery in Wharton, Maryland. Mr. Roderick Holly, age 54, departed this life December the 20th. Funeral services were held on yesterday at Cornerstone Fellowship Baptist Church. His burial will take place 10 a.m. Monday, December 30th in Woodlawn Cemetery in Baltimore, Maryland. Miss Elizabeth Nelson, age 94, departed this life December the 19th. Funeral services were held on yesterday at Scott AME Zion Church. Her burial will take place 10 a.m. tomorrow in Rolling Green Cemetery in Westchester, PA. Reverend Bernard Thomas, age 77, departed this life December 14th. His burial will take place 12 noon Tuesday, December 31st in Gracelawn Memorial Park. Howard Johnson Sr., age 77, departed this life December the 19th. Funeral services will take place 1 p.m. tomorrow at Ezon Fair Baptist Church, 1400 B Street. Viewing 11 to 12:45 p.m. only, and his burial will be private. Mr. Ronald Thomas, Sr., age 68, departed this life December 22nd. Funeral services will take place 11 a.m. Thursday, January 2nd at the Resurrection Center, 3301 North Market Street. Viewing 9 to 10:45 a.m., and his burial will take place in Delaware Veterans Cemetery. Mr. Henry Wooten, age 61, departed this life December 24th. Funeral services will take place 12 noon Friday, January the 3rd at Congo Funeral Home, 2317 North Market Street. Viewing from 10 to 11:45 a.m. only. His burial will be private. Miss Aranda Brookins, age 55, departed this life December 23rd. Funeral services will be held on Sunday, January the 5th at Congo Funeral Home, 2317 North Market Street. Viewing 12 to 1:45 p.m. Her burial will take place in Silverbrook Cemetery. Mr. Leroy Smith, age 82, departed this life on December 27th. His funeral services will be announced. Miss Stacy Gibson, age 47, departed this life December the 20th. Funeral services will take place 11 a.m. Thursday, January the 2nd at Congo Funeral Home, 2317 North Market Street. Viewing will be from 9 to 10:45 only, and her burial will take place in Gracelawn Memorial Park. Mr. Mitchell Lane, age 69, departed this life December 27th. His funeral services will be announced, as well as funeral services for Miss Shelley DeShields, who departed this life in Donaldsonville, Virginia. That does conclude our funeral announcements on this evening. On behalf of all of us at Congo Funeral Home, we want to thank you for entrusting your loved one with us. For more information, you can visit our website at www.congofuneralhome.com, or you can call us at 652-8887. Now we have a few birthday announcements. The first one we have is happy 105th birthday to John Henry Johnson. And he's shown here with his great-grandson, Brandon. And that's from your family and friends. He turned 105 on December the 26th. God bless. And then the next photos are of 2 birthdays we want to give shout outs to. And if you could show the names, because I don't have them over here, please. Yeah, they put them on the paper. Okay, so that's happy birthday to Yamar Chapman. And then underneath of him is happy birthday to Renee Chapman. So happy birthday to both of them. Next, we want to say happy birthday to my cousin Nora Irvin. And it's from your Congo funeral family. Everybody know cousin Nora. And then we have to say happy birthday to Kim Russ, who celebrates her birthday on tomorrow. And it's from your mother and family and all of us at Congo Funeral Home. And then we want to say happy birthday to Mother Gore. We have a picture of Mother Gore, and that's from your Congo family. And that's the end of our pictures. We want to also say happy birthday to Aunt Flossie, who celebrated her birthday, I believe, on yesterday. And that does conclude our birthday announcements. I want to thank you so much for tuning in this year, 2013. I pray that you had a great year, and I pray that 2014 is even greater. And we thank you so very much for all of your support. And so on behalf of myself, Trippy, and all of us at Congo Funeral Home, we speak shalom in your life in 2014. That means peace, nothing missing and nothing lacking. God bless you and good night.